Coming to you on December 13th from Roswell, Georgia. It is a beautiful 49-degree day outside, and we have a great show in store for you all. How about that new intro from Ross Walters? Ross,
yeah.
How'd you like that?
I'm really trying to get my voice acting career off the ground, so I'm just really grateful for the opportunity.
Add that straight to that portfolio.
You're going places, bruh.
Yeah, dude, I just got a Dropbox folder full of my buttery vocals.
Guys, long time no see.
Ethan, good to have you
Ethan's
back.
back, man.
I missed you guys.
The crowd didn't miss you because you were here last week. They were missing you, and then they got a full dose.
Yeah.
Yes.
Big shout out to Lillaby for being on the pod. It was awesome. It was awesome to sit down with future head coach and just chop up the dynamics of a world class team.
I texted Ethan and Lilby this, but I think that was one of our best podcasts ever.
Wow,
Seriously.
Ross.
No cap.
Okay.
Wow.
On God.
Uh-huh.
Like, I'm not capping.
Thank
I
you.
believe you.
Because for a lot of reasons. One, Lilby is just such an interesting person.
She's good on the mic.
She's good on the mic.
Was she staying close to it? I was trying to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had to
Yeah.
gain her up like a DB, but
Okay.
Just a
NBD.
DB. NBD.
NDB. It was just good to hear like what made her how she is. I don't know.
why are you the way you are?
Yeah, that. I mean, because she's a unique cat, and it's cool, and it's kind of like one of the main reasons we started Valor is like to have employees take ownership of the thing that we own, and I feel like she does that really well. So it was really cool to hear that.
Super cool. Guys, we're getting to the end of the year. 2022.
That's right.
What's next? Quick updates for our company. We got the building project schedule lining out for
Yep.
Dunwoody.
We do?
What's
yeah,
the latest,
we do.
bro?
I got the email yesterday, and I didn't even look at it yet because I was like, I'm off the clock.
Give us that real time update.
I mean, he's just shooting for March 1 for them to be done.
Boom.
So that's
Seriously?
yeah. I
Dang.
mean, that means probably not that.
Hey.
May 15th.
Listen, Michael's a straight shooter.
Michael's
okay?
a straight shooter, and the job's not out of this world. It's pretty straight and simple,
Cut and dry.
cut and dry, sweet. And,
so what's the
sweet
next
and
step?
sassy. They're breaking ground. I think later this week, they should be cutting concrete.
Like for plumbing for the bar? Or what?
Yeah. Why else would they cut concrete, Ross?
Or in our case, plumbing and electric, because islands.
Yeah, so maybe electric, or maybe our listeners don't know the layout of our space.
Like
Yeah.
Ross does. He's just
Yeah.
trying to empathize
Or like
with the listener.
HVAC. We're gonna run piping.
That'd be kind of sick.
Hey, I've seen many event on the floor.
Yeah, dude,
We've
floor
all-
vent.
We've all seen a floor vent a time or two. Yeah, so that's just great. Great. That is picking up because I mean we signed that lease probably around in March, so it'll be about a year. We're signed to open, so that could be cool. That could be cool because we gotta start paying rent soon. Gotta start making a little bit of money.
You are hilarious.
Yeah. Anything else? I mean, we got our winter menu out, our holiday menu out right now in the cafe.
Thank you.
Gearing up for the end of the year. We got some seasonal crew coming back in, so it's a little family reunion back at the shop.
Yeah.
This is our first.
Are they back? They're officially back?
They're landing this week, so we're flying in some highbrow talent out of Linden and Slamo. So it's gonna be a fun
What
holiday.
did you even just say?
Lindo and Slamo Jamo.
Lindo and Slambot.
Yes.
We've never had any like seasonal work before, right?
Linden was the first seasonal hire over the summer. And
Summer.
That was a blessing because we had Mikey on her honeymoon and then Lilby on a sabbat. So
Yeah, it just worked out.
it just worked out. Yeah, well said. Okay.
We have our end of year party,
Yeah.
internally speaking.
Does anyone want to share what that's going to look like? We usually do like a Secret Santa gift exchange, which we're still doing. And then we do like pretty much most of the night is like toasts, right?
And we said, who cares about toast?
Yeah.
Dude.
Who cares about building people up? Let's just scratch that.
Yeah.
And instead, we're going to do a
Murder mystery.
party.
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 Partying. Yeah, party. Fun,
Yeah, that's going to be great.
fun.
I'm nervous.
Did you get your character?
I did, and I still just kind of feel like I'm a woman.
Why? What do you mean?
I don't know. I just
Are
feel
you
like,
still Avery?
no. I think my name is Starlet. Or maybe I'm the secondary. Because there was also another one that was like called something really generic. I don't remember what it was.
Well, it's for you and Michaela.
Yeah, but who's who?
I would assume that Michaela's the more feminine
Okay.
one, or the female one.
Not putting labels on your marriage or anything, but
Okay, stop.
all right, yeah, all right.
Something's going on, guys.
That didn't happen that time.
That's going to be another update. Is that we're going to be in a new area?
Right.
Yeah, we're moving podcast rooms.
Yeah.
Maybe next week we'll be in there.
Wow,
That would be
see.
cool.
Got to hang some stuff on the walls.
you know what that means? Smash like if you want to see what it looks like next week in the new podcast room.
Now, that's a really good point. If you've been lingering around,
We know you're out there.
we know you're there. We know you're watching our videos and you haven't subscribed yet. So just go ahead and subscribe, like.
Look, we have
cetera.
4 children cumulative right now. We got to get some subs
Yeah,
to
it's true. It's true.
put some food
We're
on the
desperate.
Lastly, we have a new black box coffee coming out real soon from Unblended and Felipe Trujillo. It's gonna be sick.
table. Come on, just give us a little more information.
3-pack, 3 different processes, same farm, same variety, exact same coffee, processed 3 different ways.
Yes.
That's really cool. I've always wanted to do that.
They're all so good.
Good.
That's awesome. What was I going to say?
Y'all remember the orange wash coffee? Yeah, same farmer. So enough said.
Enough said.
Enough said.
And it's like it's not just it's not like it's not going to be a wash to honey and a natural. It's going to be like some freaky stuff.
We're better than that. Okay. Felipe
Okay,
is
I'll
better.
I'll just say it. It's washed.
honey.
The other one
Natural.
is dried in an induction oven.
Oh, wow.
On like a low temp.
After what?
95 degrees.
Like, is it washed and then that?
Ross,
What
why
is
do you
it,
have- Why
Riley?
do you have to pry?
Oh, I
Yeah.
need to know.
I'm like sounding smart. I'm sounding like I really know what I'm doing.
Heading in a good direction.
And then you just completely derail me.
Okay. While you're
to meet
looking
you,
that
Derail.
up, I have a question.
Wait, let me finish. Induction. So it goes into the induction oven, and then the other one is kombucha processed.
So they put a SCOBY in that shit.
SCOBY all in it.
Dang.
Scoby!
That's awesome.
So
Y'all know my Frisbee name is Scoby. So that,
Yeah, everybody out there knows
that
that.
hits close to home for me.
all right, quick details here, and then we'll move on. Kombucha. So Felipe decided he was gonna come at this coffee, and thought of using SCOBY for kombucha to elaborate a culturing that would help to develop rich acidity combined with complex fruity flavors. It is
go.
semi-washed, and much like the cochadas process,
Of course.
while it is being harvested, the cherries are placed as they come into open tanks alongside the kombucha culturing. So the idea behind this coffee was to produce a complex, high-quality coffee, but low cost. So he was aiming to, through processing, make this coffee equal a varietal that would have been $20, $30 a pound green out of the ground.
Doggone.
Which the average Joe maybe just can't front that bill.
Yeah. Like,
On the
or-
roaster side or the...
I was about to say, or the average Riley, or
Right.
Ethan, or Ross.
Yeah.
So the other one's called Wine and Induction. It's named after its wine-like flavor.
Aw.
But yeah, cherries are fermented in closed tanks for 270 hours,
Of course.
then immediately put into an induction oven at 95 degrees Fahrenheit until the humidity reaches 11 to 12%.
I wonder how long that takes.
Dang. 270
The
hours.
induction oven changes
No,
the temperature
it's
of
in
the
the
air
tank
in
for 270.
intervals, allowing the beans to dry in a consistent and homogeneous way.
Wait, are these the ones that we tasted like a long time ago?
We definitely tasted them, yeah.
Because I remember the wine induction taste. That was pretty unforgettable flavor. Are we doing a, is it a pre-order? Is that what you call that?
We are going to do pre-orders for sure.
So stay tuned.
We want to get some of this lined up, and we'll probably give a week notice or something like that. Because we don't have a lot of it. And the cafe is going to lay claim to some of it for pour over. So we gotta be smart.
How much, do you know how much is going to be in each little pack?
3 ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you'll have enough for a few pour overs.
Like 3 pour overs, yeah. 3 big pour overs.
Of each.
3 shareable pour overs.
Yeah, 3 shareable pour overs per coffee.
3 pour overs to share.
I was thinking that we need to talk more at the same time in this podcast. I think we do too good of a job of giving each other space.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
okay. So what?
we all need to be talking together.
Do you think that just kind of brings like a level of energy?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get that.
Guys, we've been doing this for almost a year now.
Yeah.
Wow.
This is episode number 41.
Wow.
If you don't include the bonus sports episode about Jimmy G.
Which you should.
Which you should, because it's our greatest episode ever.
Are we going to we should do a follow-up where we review Brock Purdy's college highlights.
That's genius.
Everybody's talking about Brock Purdy.
Purdy.
I saw this funny NFL meme.
That's hilarious.
And it was like the top.
That was the meme.
Do you know why he does that?
Yes.
I didn't know that you listened to the New Heights podcast. That's a sponsor of the program. Sorry.
Yeah.
We just traded sponsorships. Like, we'll be on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a 1-for-1 trade. It just worked out. But it was like top 10 NFL quarterbacks whatever week we're in. What is it, like
14?
Week 14. And it was like top 1 through 7 Baker Mayfield, like Panthers. And it was like just the same photo. And then it was like 8 was Baker Mayfield, Browns. And then it was Baker Mayfield, what was the other team he was at?
Carolina?
Sorry. Okay. The first were
Rams.
Baker Mayfield Rams. Yeah. And then it was Carolina. And then number 10 was Brock Purdy.
Amazing.
And it was just like, okay, yeah, that's all anyone is talking about this week.
It was a really amazing game. Did
Yeah.
you guys watch it?
The Rams,
Yeah.
the Baker. Yeah. I watched it.
I fell asleep with my little guy, but I was watching it, I swear.
I'm going to admit he's kind of a hard guy to cheer for.
Oh, yeah.
Because of his attitude. But anyone
I
who...
say he's got catitude.
Yeah, yes.
He totally has catitude, especially when he was playing for the Panthers. Because
Yeah, for sure.
Baker Mayfield out here.
I was really hoping Colt McCoy would turn it on last night. But
dude, Colt McCoy is definitely not the problem. He was like,
oh yeah,
he put the ball in the right place almost
he was probably
every time.
70% completion.
People were just dropping the ball.
Yeah, Hollywood dropped a big pass.
That one where he was like this, and then the ball went like here. I get it, man. I probably couldn't pull that off, but I'm also not prepared to pull that off.
Well, could Hollywood Brown make as good of a pour over as you can make? You know, you're just in different.
Stay tuned next episode where I make a pour over with Hollywood Brown.
Who do you
And
think
you
makes
try to catch balls with him.
Okay, but who do you think makes a better pour over between you and Jimmy Butler?
Another athlete.
Jimmy B, man, he's got me. He could do because you know how I'm really into agitation.
Yeah, I totally know how you're into agitation.
So he could hold the kettle like way higher. And that stream
Yeah.
is going to bam.
Yeah.
It's going to wah. And then
Totally.
that cup is just going to be clean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, speaking of pour overs, what do you guys say we transition to the meat and tater? Hey, welcome to the meat and taters portion of this podcast.
Meat and taters or meat and potatoes, whatever you'll have.
Or impossible meat.
Okay, real
Yeah.
quick. Tell me your favorite way to have potatoes. Mine is like the multicolored fingerling cut in half, like pretty crispy, tons of salt. Go.
Tater tots.
Really?
That's your favorite way to eat potatoes?
I don't know. Sure.
Is there just a certain luxury to it? Because like you can't really do that at home. Because you'd have to like grind it. Yeah, all right, that's what
I
it
like
is.
hash browns too, but
I could be like, this one time I had these potatoes at Staple House, but I won't do that. I'll say,
don't do that. Ugh.
I'll say just home fries.
Oh,
If you
Okay.
get good home fries,
Yeah, fair enough.
So back to the meat and potatoes. That's pretty much a segment on the show.
Meat and
We
potatoes.
always
Potatoes.
transition to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
I just need to start marking the chapter on
Meat
YouTube.
and taters.
Yeah.
The M&P. Welcome to the M&P portion of this podcast.
Ethan, what are we talking about today? It was your idea.
Yeah, it wasn't me. It was Rolex. Just wrapping up this year, you get reflective, okay? And we all know that the specialty coffee industry, it's young. It's young.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe there was a little hype behind it earlier on, I feel like. But things are still moving, things are still changing, things are still automating. So in reflection of this year, we thought we'd come up with a couple of maybe some trends we've been noticing, some hot takes about how we feel like the coffee industry is progressing. Does anyone want to go first?
Just a general observation about the coffee industry. Whenever I look back at the coffee industry as a whole, I have a hard time differentiating between my perception of it versus like what it actually is. For example, like in 2016, when I was, I guess like maybe 2015, maybe even 2014, I was like getting into like pour overs and stuff like that. And so that was when I first started observing the specialty coffee industry as someone from the outside, like getting into it. And so fast forward to now, someone who works in the specialty coffee industry, sometimes I think about like, oh, back when I first started, like these were the trends. But I have a hard time differentiating, like, were those just the trends that I was perceiving as someone who was just getting into it, or was that actually how it was as a whole? Does that make sense? Like my perception of it isn't the gospel of like what the coffee industry was as a whole.
Do you have an example?
That's deep, bro.
I think like making the obsession of making pour overs at home when we first started and like having all the right gear. It's like, was that actually a global trend for the specialty coffee industry, or at least a national trend for the industry? Or was that just my experience?
I think people go through these trends in phases. You know what I'm saying?
Like in cycles?
Well, yeah, it's just it's about
phases.
it's more about like an individual's coffee journey. I saw this really funny reel about like it was a reel making fun of podcasts and podcast reels. And it was like every podcast guy thinking he has something really important to say. And this guy was like, I think the thing about experiences is that when you're actually experiencing the experience, you just don't know that you're in an experience, right? So you just have to like take a step back and see the experience for what it is.
It's like, boom.
Dang, like you said absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyways.
So anyways, I'm just saying
Yeah, but
that's a good way to frame
Right.
this.
Sure,
is that
sure,
as
sure.
we look back on trends that have happened in the coffee industry, and as we look at trends today, we're not claiming to be, an authority on the entire industry, even though we are. We're just looking at it through our lens from where we sit.
Yeah, and to be even more clear, I think we are getting a little bit more reconnected with the coffee industry. But we were out for a minute intentionally.
Yeah, it's hard when you're just trying to build something to like also be cognizant and follow other things.
Yeah.
I would
Like-
venture to say that like most people that are trying to start a coffee shop are out of touch with coffee trends because they're too busy to be in touch with coffee trends. Like a lot of people that are maybe really, really in touch with coffee trends are either like trying to think of videos to make all day about coffee trends for YouTube, or they're, like a barista, at a coffee shop that like is like super passionate about the industry and just has time to do that.
Sure. Yeah. Like, do you guys, here's an example. I just learned what the Weber EG1 was like last week. You guys know what that is?
Is that a grinder?
Yeah.
The one that looks like a microscope?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how it works or even where you put the beans in, but it looks really cool and expensive.
I think it's 3,700
For home?
See, that's the thing I don't understand.
It's prosumer.
Because it's marketed as commercial grade.
Oh.
But I honestly don't understand how you would grind a batch through it.
Is it maybe just for single dose espresso?
It's just, I mean, it has the range of an EK.
Okay. So maybe similar to an EK then.
That's what I'm saying. It's like,
Yeah.
you know, competitively, and James Hoffman reviewed it and said, like, you know, he likes the Weber more,
Sure.
Then,
the EK.
duh.
Yeah, it looks like it's exclusively for espresso.
Does
'Cause
it,
Well, wait, what do you mean?
Because this little it's okay. So it's either exclusively for espresso or pour over. Like you
also
couldn't
3900.
It's single
single
serve.
serve. Yeah.
Yeah. But the size of it makes you be like, this thing isn't for home. It's like, it's huge.
Oh, it's big.
Yeah, I mean, it's like this.
Okay.
Wow.
But
From
I'm-
espresso to pour over coffee preparation.
But anyways, I'm like, if the grind quality was fantastic, it's stepped, which is also interesting.
Ooh. I can respect a step.
Yeah, me too. Like the grind clicks,
Oh.
kind of.
Yeah.
Unlike the EK.
Fair.
But I'm like, if it was great, so say it was amazing,
Yeah.
how could you mold that to be used for batch?
It seems like you need to make it taller and you need a bigger hopper.
Or you get like a vessel for the batch brew that's like a pan,
Yeah.
a little custom job.
Yeah. But anyways, I think there's a lot of products like that are marketed for a commercial level, but like people end up buying it for home. Like the people that make it are like, we're going to market this for commercial, but like if you want to buy it for home, have at. Like the GS3.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Linea Mini, like that's made for home, but it's like that's so expensive.
You can just pay $500 more and it comes in black. So that's a huge perk for me.
Man, they know their customer. That is for sure.
That's the most like Apple thing I've ever heard. Apple sells a monitor and it's $5,000. And the stand for the monitor doesn't come with it. It is an extra $1,000.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to have the stand.
You can have your own stand. Like, you know how my monitor is on like a monitor arm?
Yeah.
Most monitors come with which I think Apple, you actually have to get an adapter to be able to use it. I think it's called like the VESA standard.
And that's where they get you.
And that's where they get you.
But I get what you're kind of hinting at was like, I feel like if this idea of if you get into the coffee industry at a time, you learn all of the trends, and then that's like, okay, this is the coffee industry. Like someone getting into coffee now could come across the Weber and be like, okay, this is the grinder.
Yeah.
But when I'm like training people, I'm like, do you know what an EK43 is? It's like the grinder. You know, like it's the
Yeah.
one. Everybody gets La Marzocco and everybody gets Mount Koenig. That's how this thing works. But that's just how it worked when we got into the industry.
Yeah.
So things do kind of ebb and flow. But when you also think about, I was thinking if someone gets into coffee often, they come to the shop and buy a bag, they're still making pour overs at home.
Yeah.
So it seems like the home pour over journey seems pretty tried and true, at least for the last, 10, 15 years?
Yeah, for sure.
But I guess
I mean, there's new things coming out.
yeah, the origami. I feel like I see a lot of people brewing on that. You can even like get into that specific things.
Yeah. Like you guys know who Lance Hendrick is? He has published some good content about like brew methods, and he like has kind of coined some terms around some certain brew methods and that stuff. So things are definitely changing. But yeah, it's always this progression of like you get into coffee and you're like, okay, pour overs are the standard. But then, I mean, we don't do this, but just hear me out. You're behind the bar and someone comes in and they're like, oh, you guys don't like used to, we do now. You guys don't do pour overs? And we're like, no, we don't. We have like all this. And they're like, okay, you don't know anything.
Yeah.
People were like that with cold brew for a little bit too.
Yeah.
You don't got cold brew? You don't go cold brew?
Which is even funnier because most industry people hate cold brew.
Right.
Oh, coffee.
Well,
Because
hey,
it's an inferior extraction, objectively.
Oh, yeah.
But
I understand.
It serves its purpose, and it's good for that purpose.
I was thinking the other day about how I miss a good iced coffee.
Yeah, man.
We should. I don't know if we can do it now for Reddit since we only have one machine for it, but on the Seraphims in Dunwoody, we should get an iced pour over dialed in.
we could probably get a ice pour over on the tone. Totally. Well, we're kind of in this pour over world right now. You got something you want to say about a pour over device, don't you?
I do.
About a by the cup device that involves
I think that was me.
pressing.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, I do. I've got one.
Oh, okay.
So our hot takes. Okay,
I guess we both do.
here we go.
Hot take number one.
I have never had a truly amazing cup of AeroPress coffee. I've tried. I've broken out the effing refractometer. I've used multiple roasters, beans. I've used
You've used
multiple methods.
an EK.
I've used an EK,
Yeah.
but I
not
know
an
how to
EG.
use it. I've not used the Weber. Maybe the $3,000 Weber will
Well, you gotta
make
get the
my
black one.
It's
$30
$35,000.
AeroPress.
It's 38,000.
35 million.
It's $40 million.
Yeah. Okay, so that's
would you disagree? Because
yeah.
you
I went through a phase.
you loved the AeroPress for a minute.
Well, back up. I mean, this is a hot take because, in case our listeners don't know, there's such a thing as the World AeroPress Championship
There's a cult following.
every year.
There's not a cult following for the Hario V60. Okay, maybe there is, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or like the clever dripper.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's two camps of people in the AeroPress world. One is like the convenience traveler that just like, I just want like pressed coffee. I feel like they usually brew it really strong. And then there's like the finesse crowd that like is trying to dial in their recipe to the nth degree to win a World AeroPress Championship. And so yeah, I went through a phase maybe 2 or 3 years ago, honestly, where I didn't have my Bonavita Connoisseur. Is that what you call it?
Do you have a connoisseur or an 8-cup?
I don't know, dude.
You have an 8-cup.
Roaches laid
Am I kidding?
eggs in it and I threw it away. True
You're
story.
kidding.
Yeah, man.
Recently?
Yeah, like a month ago.
Oh, gross.
Dude, it was okay. I'll tell a story real quick. It's good content. All right. So we were noticing
Spew warning.
People are vomiting all over their leather seats.
Vom warning.
we were noticing these little roaches, like not the big classic roach.
You don't want to see the little ones.
The little ones are like slow and gross.
yeah.
And I think they're called German cockroaches. And
German.
I always notice them hanging out around our coffee maker because we leave the coffee maker out on the counter.
Were you making coffee?
Yeah, absolutely. And so like every time I would move the coffee maker, like a few would scurry around. And one day we just like tried to like treat these bugs without calling an exterminator because my wife loves that kind of stuff. And one day I just like looked into the
So you're putting essential oils down on the countertop.
I mean, literally
Got the diffuser
kind of, yeah, the diffuser's
going all day long.
I've got an oil for that. So the brewer is kind of like translucent, the material, so you can kind of see into it. And I just was like, could it be that there is a nest of roaches in this coffee brewer? Ugh. And so I looked through it, and sure enough, there were like 8 that I could see, and I didn't even like open it up. And
What are you looking in?
so you know where you put the water in?
Yeah.
You like open up the latch and
Little lid. Yeah.
so that area, the floor of that area where the water sits is translucent. You can see through a little bit.
Oh.
So
okay.
I just looked in there and they were just crawling around. And then I didn't even open like the main body of the brewer. But for whatever reason, they were attracted to coffee. And I wouldn't expect that. And so I just was like, okay, I have a decision to make. I can either open this thing up and try to save my, how much is this brewer? $150?
Yeah.
40 million.
I've had it for like 5 years at this point, or maybe less. I don't know. And so I just threw it in the dumpster.
There's something probably about parenthood where you just start to weigh your
Choose your battles.
Choose your battles.
No doubt. And I was like, I can't imagine myself like opening this thing up. There's not even like screws to open it up. It's all like plastic tabs that you have to do. Anyways.
How do you drink coffee at home these days?
I use the brew basket and thermos from the Bonavita.
You make a pour
and I
over?
make a pour over.
You are crazy. What happened to all your pour over devices? They just break along the way?
I either donated them to Valor or they broke.
I still don't know what happened to my copper V60 that was in the back room at Valor for a while.
Yeah.
You should donate them, and I'm just imagining someone in specialty coffee being like, we should try to like give back our pour over devices like to people in need. I'm sorry.
And then they have a V60. I meant donate them to Valor.
Oh,
like to the
That's called
operation.
an owner's investment.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
That's a tax
back
cut,
to
man.
AeroPress. So I made there's this YouTube channel called European Coffee Trip, and they make a recap video every year of the World AeroPress Championship. They bring in the person that made the winning recipe to like show off their recipe. And so once every half a year when I make an AeroPress, I look at that, and the 2019 recipe I've found a good bit of success with. It involves using a coarse grind with quite a lot of coffee, like 30 grams. And you fill up the AeroPress. You let it brew for like a minute or a minute 30. I can't remember. You press it out, and then you're left with a concentrate, and then you dilute that with bypass water. And I thought it was really good. But I could never make it taste good on the EK because I had never spent enough time with it. But with my like Barazza Encore at home, it tasted good.
Disclaimer. I did try that method. Not on your Barazza Encore, granted. From the EK, and I still was like, this is fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a pour over device?
I do. I have an origami. I just bought the new Fellow Ode and the new Fellow Stack because of the scheduling feature that I'm really happy about.
You love scheduling.
I just love schedules.
All right. AeroPress was my first pour over device or by the cup device I ever had, and I had a hand grinder and it always sucked. And that's my fault. It's not the AeroPress's, but
Yeah.
that was a good hot take. Riley he hasn't had a good AeroPress. I probably haven't either, honestly, but I like drip, darn it.
I know you do.
Drip's good, okay?
This was fantastic.
Well, yeah.
Here's the thing about drip, though.
Right.
Here's a little hot
Yeah.
take.
Okay.
All right, I'm starting to get heated.
You're going ad lib on
it
this.
really is hot in here. I'm kind of burning up.
You're wearing a sweater.
Okay. I feel like, yeah.
Hot take. Coffee tattoos are freaking awesome.
Let me just roll up my sleeve right here to expose
We've never talked
my
about it on the show.
coffee tattoo.
While I start talking about how drip's not as good as a pour over.
Oh my gosh.
That is so
We
good,
found
dude.
our reel for this week.
I didn't even mean to do that, but that was perfect. Anyway, so drip sucks if it's been sitting for more than like no time. I feel like
Clean your air pots.
no, dude. Even with a clean air pot, like if you let, I think the running theory I've had early on that I've just had in the back of my mind, shut up, was you have to keep it, you can't let it sit for more than 2 hours. There's no way that's real.
You think it's more like an hour?
Or less.
Like 15 minutes.
Maybe.
Well, you know the science, right? Tell me you know the science.
Yeah, Ross.
I mean, are you
do know the
talking
science?
about like hot coffee sitting longer extracts more because
Yeah,
the molecules?
colloids.
Like because it like the solids in the coffee are perpetually extracting.
Wait, you guys don't use a heater plate?
Well,
But so put it on a finer point for our listeners. What you're talking about, because I know you don't have to tell me. I just mean for the listeners.
Once again, Ross empathizing with the listener.
yes. When you keep coffee hot, probably like in a thermos or an air pot,
or even worse, a like heat plate.
a heat plate, there's still coffee solids that make it through the filter into the coffee. And because of the high heat, they will continue to extract and become over extracted. And that's why people say if people
Take a breath.
If people say that something tastes like old coffee, it's just over extracted coffee. You know what I'm saying?
And there also is this flavor that's imparted separate from over extracted coffee, like old coffie taste. I don't.
And
Which is
that's
also
where
what
you're
you
wrong.
find in cold brew.
Yeah, it tastes like cold brew.
Yeah.
It tastes like hot cold brew.
I think we're onto something.
So I don't
Hot
know.
cold brew.
I think
That's a thing.
That's the next. No.
I swear.
Do you heat it up?
They
after?
I just saw it. They have released a kegerator that flash heats
a hoterator.
nitro cold brew.
in the tube,
I guess.
like through a
How
heat,
did this not come up when we were talking about coffee trends, dude?
A
This
heat-
is insane.
a heat exchange
Why
system.
would you want that?
Let me find the article.
While you're looking at that, listen to this, guys. This is crazy. I'm working at the bar this weekend. And
People are just running in as fast as they can.
honestly, man, it was nuts. Like, it was a nuts day if we looked at the sales. Sale. Someone who I really, she's an amazing guest. She's awesome.
Nice disclaimer.
She asked for something out of this world. First time. She loves the Nitro Lav so much that she said, "Can you heat it up for me?
Yeah,
Can you steam it?" And I said,
I'll do
absolutely.
anything once.
"I'll say, yeah, that's easy." So I did.
Steam that shit up.
And she was like, "Yo, that's good, though." And then she added more lavender vanilla. I don't know if the making it hotter made it lose
I
some
could see that.
sweetness. Yeah.
I could see that. I don't exactly know why, but I could see that.
Probably because, I don't know. I was just thinking maybe you're creating more space because you're aerating. And so per sip, there's literally less
Of
sweet.
everything.
Yeah.
All right, I found it. California-based, shout out to dailycoffeenews.com for bringing us this programming.
Shout out to California.
California-based beverage equipment company Kegco has launched an innovative nitro draft system for coffee retailers called Hot Draft. Available with 2 or 3 taps, the dispensing system includes 1 tap that flash heats cold brew, allowing for both hot and cold nitro coffee on demand from a single keg. Okay, I know it's stupid, but hear me out.
But it just might work.
Offices. This is the only thing I'm thinking about right now.
For offices.
4 offices. Your hot coffee, your cold coffee, it's all there together.
Yeah.
End of story.
I just think about
Maybe it's terrible.
I
don't
just
know.
think about someone wanting, because with the nitro, you get the mouth feel and like the cascading thing.
Yeah.
So I think about someone like diving into a piping hot cup of nitro.
A cascading cup of hot coffee sounds kind of pog.
I mean, it's just like a micro foamy latte
Without
thing.
milk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
But
right,
anyways, we need to test once and for all, when does drip coffee really start to decline in flavor? And then we just need to stick to that, because I just don't want to. I don't want
You
to
should put it on your project list.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ross.
You're like, what's the thing you always say? What's your thing? Monday, Tuesdays,
Oh yeah.
wholesale. Then Wednesday through Fridays, other
All
projects.
other projects.
That is out the window, dude. I'm telling you what.
Yo. Okay. More. Guys, we got more stuff to say.
More stuff.
Hot take number 14. I think oat milk is on the descent. I think oat milk's on the descent.
Did
And
you say that? We'll never get sponsors now.
sorry. No, that's the thing is if Oatly or another oat-based company sponsors us, we can get it back on the incline. But,
Right. Single-handedly.
I think it's now cool. Like the cool people get like the local grass-fed, grass-finished whole milk.
Yeah.
And
Well, it's not grass finished because the cows are still alive. You know what I mean? Because it's like grass fed.
let me finish. Let me
okay.
finish.
You were
Yeah,
gonna say that.
I was
Yeah,
gonna say that.
You were gonna say that.
You just like shoved down my throat.
Okay. I'm sorry, man.
And so trends are on the bell curve, right? And I think we're at the top in the top right corner of where the just normal people get oat milk, and now the trendsters are doing something else.
What are they doing?
I'd say
Whole milk.
They're just doing whole milk, or if they're actually lactose intolerant, they're doing like freaking sunflower seed milk or like freaking
MYLK stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
freaking grass milk.
If you disagree with our hot takes, let us know in the comments down below.
first subscribe
Okay.
to get on our Patreon, and then
Do you think they're moving away from oat milk, or do you think they're moving towards milk? Meaning, like, is the reason they're
Oh my gosh.
why are you attacking me?
Makes you think.
are they opposed to oat milk and that's why they're not drinking it, or are they more attracted to like, I want to get some good quality milk?
Probably, I think that one. I think what you had finished with, because oat milk is good, but then I think someone somewhere was just like, all right, but I'm going to drink a normal cappuccino. And then they were like, dang it, this is way better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then that happened. So
Yeah. I feel like there for a second, and this may just be bias with my experience because everybody has a different experience. And that's the thing about experience is that
is you have to back up to
yeah.
experience your experience. Right.
fancy,
Yeah. Good point.
fancy
Don't
milk.
hit the table.
Fancy milk was not a thing like 5 years ago. Right? I mean, like,
Fancy milk?
yeah, like Mountain Fresh Creamery milk.
Didn't exist 5 years
It was.
No, it just, I feel like in coffee shops, you just had like Costco or Kroger milk.
And the coffee shops we were working in, yeah. For
and,
sure.
And I just feel like no coffee shop that I went to at the time, which, and this is also part of it, there were just less nice coffee shops back then by a lot. I don't think they really were like, ooh, get this nice, like, quality dairy, local,
Sure.
grass-fed, not grass-finished because the cows are still alive,
I know.
milk.
Right. Intentionality, man.
And so my point with that is with the rise of fancy normal milk, it's like that's maybe the better option for a lot of people than oat.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, that's my oat milk hot take.
Is it my turn again?
Sure.
Turn again.
Who's
I think it's my turn. Something I've noticed in the last maybe year or 2 years has been the rise of automated pour-overs in cafes.
what?
And that's not a hot take, it's just an observation.
But this is the hot take episode.
And so,
Yeah, observation episodes next week.
I mean, maybe just to break that down a little bit, why do you guys think we've seen that trend? People moving away from because back in the day, like when we were coming up, 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018 kind of span.
Like 2019, 2020.
Definitely not 2020.
Pre-COVID.
It was, the cool thing was to have like a pour over rack.
Bespoke.
Right? Because you
Very
had like
bespoke.
Stand.
You had your bespoke pour over stand.
Yeah,
Which,
bespoke.
by the way, why would anyone ever have a pour over stand? It's way harder to measure everything.
Unless you're somehow brewing by yield.
Yeah.
You just like take the cup and it keeps going.
I had that revelation like early on, like, oh man, the epitome, the mecca of like quality in a coffee shop is to have a pour over stand. We've got to get a pour over stand. And then I think I made a pour over with a pour over stand one time.
Wait a minute.
And I was like, wait, how does this work?
You put
like,
the whole stand
on the scale.
That's what I did. Because it was a single pour over stand, which is even dumber because why would you have a single pour over stand? Anyways, so
Shout out to all the pour over stand companies.
Shout out to all the pour over stands.
Yes.
The PSSs.
For sure.
Okay,
But anyways, that was like the thing was to do the pour over specifically on a pour over stand. And then we started seeing some automated things. The first automated pour over I saw was a pour steady at Sump in Nashville. Is that the same for you guys?
Marco SP9 at Counterculture's training lab.
That was probably the first I saw, actually.
I would have to agree with that.
And I saw those at East Pole recently. So those are still, in circulation.
Maybe they're on like the SP10.
Maybe so. Or the SP9S.
9 plus.
So anyways, then you started having like a mix of, you saw some of those automated things and you saw some people still doing pour overs. Why do you think we've seen that transition to automated pour over?
I have an answer.
Me too. You go ahead.
It's better.
In what way?
It is always more consistent.
Yeah.
It's always exactly the same. It's way more efficient, and it's just a better experience.
Unless it's the tone touch. What about you?
For everyone, baristas, when you have a pour over rush, you want to rip your hair out,
Rip your head out.
when you rip your head off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Methinks it's something that we're going to talk about a little more, but I think we're kind of running out of time, TBH. About just the coffee industry as a whole becoming a little less like, I guess, bespoke, a little less like professional, like career-oriented barista vibes.
Yeah.
And it's like, how can we be an efficient, effective, guest-oriented, quality-oriented environment, And that can be achieved through machines doing a job.
It's a franchise model.
Yeah.
Just like
For better or for worse.
perfect the system enough to where anybody can do it.
Yeah, training for realsies.
Minimal training.
Training for realsies. That's real, man. Because we talked about it last week, but it's like a high-ish turnover industry. And like trying to teach someone how to do like a pour over, probably how you exactly want it done. I mean, that would take years of tutoring. All right.
Yeah.
That's my answer. Do you have an answer?
Yeah. I mean, that is what I was going to say. And that's what I did say before we started
And I just
recording.
took your words.
But this is maybe not even a bad thing for our industry. And I want to emphasize that because this is the approach we've taken in hiring. Like,
No, yeah.
we have taken the approach of hiring for culture fit and for personality and character far and above coffee experience. And that has really leveled up our responsibility to offer a high level of training to bring those people up to speed. And so that's been cool. But I feel like I've looked up at the industry lately and been like, who here is like really, really passionate about coffee? Of just like baristas working at cafes. Who wants to like have a career in coffee? I feel like my main point with that is if you were to take a survey of all the baristas in Atlanta or a sample size of the baristas in Atlanta and ask them like, do you want a career in coffee? I feel like that percentage of yes has gone way down in the last, it's probably since like post-COVID, honestly, because people just want a more secure job with longevity.
Yeah, or maybe even a remote job or a job with flexible hours.
Yeah.
If you are a barista in Atlanta, do you want a career in coffee? Let us know. That'd be a really interesting thing to hear.
Yeah. One of the funny things about that is, it's not funny, it sucks, is the coffee community, especially I think in Atlanta, is very disconnected.
Sure.
Like, I feel like there are no events. And I feel like okay, this is going to be deep hot take, and I'm not trying to make any sort of statement here, but a lot of people don't want to go to a cupping and deal with COVID protocol.
Sure.
It's like
Yeah.
they just want to go do a cupping. And
Right.
so they might not go to the cupping because of that.
Or it's like capped or something.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's a big part of it. And then, so, I mean, I don't know the people who are excited about a career in coffee because I'm not connected to them.
They're in higher positions if they are.
Yeah, for sure.
And again, this could be a biased thing of my experience because, like, whenever I was going to Brash back in the day, Revelator, Octane, whatever all these shops were at the time, Chrome Yellow, a lot of those people that were really, really good at those shops and were like coffee people, like they even maybe had coffee tattoos. They were in the barista position because they were maybe just starting out.
Yeah.
And now they're not.
Well, it's like those people, like Joel and Charles were those people. Now
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
a coffee company. JP has a coffee company.
Conan, Juan.
Yeah. Like Brandon went on to do the, like, work for
Brownies.
Brownies.
Yeah, they're all kind of moving on. And so maybe it's just a nature of the coffee industry as a whole. I mean, that seems like I bet it's that, and I bet it's also the COVID thing of just like disbanding the culture of the coffee industry as a whole, having like a uniform culture across different coffee shops. I feel like it's a lot more about like, go work at this coffee shop, go work at this coffee shop. Because every coffee shop, like whether it's third wave or not, has like a Linea, a nice machine, and, you know, like kind of nice coffee and like, you know, cactuses there and like minimalist decor. That's normal now. But however many years ago, 6-7 years ago, that was not normal at all. Those kind of third wave elements. So, yeah.
And if the bones are good, the rest don't matter.
Hey, you had one.
Look,
I told you to say because you always say it.
I'm just looking to get like a sponsorship deal from La Marzocco, so I don't want to say it. But look, I just
Well,
hate,
you can say that you love their other stuff.
yeah, I would marry Estrada if I wasn't already married, but I was working on a Linea the other day and I was like, this sucks. Like the closed top espresso machine's just way less fun and harder to work on, and the little stubby steam ones that
You're
flop
like-
around, and then you got to do the knob. It sucks.
Yeah.
It's not a good workflow. I'm sure if you just that's all you know, and you can make amazing coffee and get really comfortable on it. But I've just been spoiled with our GS3, with our Keith Van der Westen, with the Strata here. I'm just like, those are all exactly what I want. And even with hopefully the Mod Bar and Dunwoody, it's kind of a similar layout of like long steam one, open group head, blah, blah, blah.
Let's be clear. Whatever the God shot is, it was probably pulled on a Linea.
Oh,
You know?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
it's-
odds of that happening.
It's just comfortability.
Mostly because people used that term back when everyone had Lineas.
Yeah. And I'm also just saying that Linea has like 95% of the hold on the specialty coffee
and
scene.
if you're starting a coffee shop, you know, go. And I'm sure you guys have already listened to the "What Should You Buy" episodes.
linked above.
Still get a Linea. Who cares? It's great. It's just like not as comfy as a machine that's like probably $10,000 more expensive. So this is just coming from a spoiled brat over here.
It's the Linea Classic for a reason. It's an old design.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why more modern machines like the Strata, like the Spirit, like the Slayer, they're all open group head designs and long steam ones.
Comment below your favorite espresso machine.
Yeah. That's a hot take.
Last hot take, Cometeer, the product, is better than whatever pour over you're making at home. I guarantee it.
Ross,
It's true.
you stole my hot take.
Yeah, well,
Jerk.
you stole my hot take.
Well,
Jerk.
you.
I love you guys so much.
Well,
You're my ride or dies.
that's facts.
It is so facts, dude. It's
Yeah, Cometeer is awesome.
it's very impressive.
It's expensive. You'll be paying more.
It's not
maybe,
expensive.
but it is compared to a pour over. It's more expensive.
Okay,
How expensive
I
per
get
cup?
it. It's $2 a cup,
Oh, I got $2.
but and that's like with shipping and tax and everything. For a bag of our coffee, let's say for Ethiopia, how much is that? Is that like close to $20? Maybe 19?
I mean, even just call it 20.
$20. So per gram, see if my calculator will work here. $20. Do I do 283 divided by 20?
20 divided by 283.
Thank you. 283 times
20.
That's $1.41.
So it's cheaper.
It's cheaper
economy.
by
It is
60.
exponentially cheaper.
It's like a little bit cheaper.
That's
Isn't
a big
isn't that-
percentage
60
difference.
cents every day, dude.
You see my point.
Hey,
though.
look, dude,
It's-
if you want to go work at Cometeer, go ahead. There's the door. Huh?
No, but the point remains. If you're just like, if you just want good coffee and don't care about the craft of it, and you have oodles of cash,
And you're not traveling because you kind of can't travel.
and you're not traveling,
Yeah.
then you should get some Cometeer and brew
It's
that
fire.
up.
And then tell them to get Valor to be on their stuff because
Yeah,
we're not even on their stuff yet. We just like it. All right.
Yeah, we're just commentary.
We would like it
stands.
more if it was Valor Cometeer. Last one. I've been very vocal about this. I think home grinders are kind of coming back for me.
because of the fellow.
I
Yes,
heard when we talk about this, that hand grinders like awesome or something.
they're really back.
Commandante or something.
Commandante.
That's another big
Dante's Inferno?
Lance Hendrick thing. Like he has his own. I'm pretty sure he has his own like model now.
That's a whole subculture, like
For sure.
nice hand grinders,
I'm not there, but
and they all love YouTube.
yeah,
All those people love YouTube.
the new Ode like has. I mean, first of all, it's pretty good.
A manual feature.
I love that it doesn't go to espresso intentionally.
Yeah.
Because that range is unnecessary for people. If you're serious about brewing espresso at home, you should just get a separate espresso grinder.
Yeah,
A Weber
Oh, you should get a Weber. Yeah.
in Onyx.
And it has a sick anti-static feature that makes it not messy at all.
the EK
And that's the thing
Thing.
I value the most. Yeah.
messiness.
The Ode?
The new Ode, yeah, has like no static.
Man, the Mount Koenig grind. What do we have? The E80 should take a page out of their book.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt, man.
Yeah, I'm going to be making a personal review on my personal YouTube about the E80 soon.
Oh gosh.
So,
You need to field a lot of data from Mikey and Ethan because they've worked on it so much.
yeah, it'll be like interview format.
Yeah,
Like The Office.
No, I'm just going to act like I'm the one that has to deal with it.
I think about like the political ads where it's like they are like talking about how bad something is. You can kind of like film it in that.
That's
that
pretty good.
kind of
Like
thing.
black and white with red text.
Yeah, and they're like interviewing people who have been wronged by the people that are running for office. So it's like you're interviewing Ethan.
That's genius.
It just wouldn't stop spraying. It just wouldn't stop spraying.
you're like crying.
Yeah.
It would only come out in 17 seconds.
This video was paid for Riley Westbrook.
Okay.
All right, guys, that was a fun one. If you have any coffee hot takes, smash like and leave them in the comments below, and we will discuss them next week, where we'll be giving out our Valor Awards for 2022.
The coveted Valor Awards.
All right, love y'all.